Welcome back to another exciting episode with Hi TV. Today we have presented to you something truly beautiful, Behind the Brew, a story in film showcasing Sri Lanka's emerging coffee legacy, presented to you by Australia's Marketing Development Facility. This event is going to be a whole lot of fun and networking. Stay tuned with Hi TV for more exclusive coverage of this event. We're here with the MTF Country Director, Ms. Mariam Piraja. Ms. Mariam, how are you doing today, and what are your thoughts about the event so far?
Very well, thank you. I think the event has been really fantastic. The turnout is amazing, and I think the venue looks beautiful. So I think it's exactly what we had visioned, and we're really happy to pull this group together.
What has MDF done to enhance the coffee industry in Sri Lanka?
So MTF has been working with the coffee sector since 2017, really working across the private sector partners to develop and improve production volumes, quality, sourcing techniques, and really bringing the industry players together so we can put Sri Lanka's coffee on the global map.
Okay, so speaking of the future, what does the future of coffee industry look like, and what is MDF planning to do to further enhance this coffee industry?
Sure. So I think coffee has a great potential. It's important for Sri Lanka to diversify the economy, attract private sector investment, and put a name on the global map. What we've been doing is really setting the stage so that coffee can be an export-oriented industry in the future, and we'll be investing more to improve production volumes, generate more private sector investment, get the quality up to the international standards, and we hope that will really put a dent in the global scene.
I'm really pleased to see such diverse representation from across both government and the private sector at this event this evening. It's a real pleasure to welcome you all to what is a celebration of progress, partnership and potential. Tonight we shine a spotlight on a sector that is quietly but confidently brewing a new chapter in Sri Lanka's agriculture story, which is specialty coffee. Many of you may be already familiar with Australia's long-standing commitment to supporting Sri Lanka's economic development through the tourism and the agriculture sectors. And in coffee, we bring those two sectors together.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's a real pleasure to have you all join us today for the official launch From Bean to Cup, the journey of specialty coffee. This is a story of transformation, collaboration, and potential. At MDF, supported by the Australian government, we've had the privilege of working alongside Sri Lanka's specialty coffee industry since 2017, co-creating solutions with partners, really investing in its early growth, and laying the groundwork for a future and an export-ready industry. Australia's investment in the sector has been deliberate. We saw a market with high potential, one that could drive economic transformation, attract private sector investment, and deliver meaningful impact for rural communities, especially smallholder farmers and women. Since then, we've been working with over a dozen of private and public sector partners across the value chain to help shift coffee from commodity to specialty, from farm to cafe. And while Sri Lanka is still in the early stages of its journey on the export, the progress is undeniable and the ambition continues to grow.
Entering into coffee, the RPCs are home for almost about 1.5 million population in this country, out of which about 108,000 direct workforce is employed in the regional plantation companies throughout the country. And also if you look at it, the 23 regional plantation companies in this country, we have the estates located mainly in the western slopes of the country, then also the eastern slopes of the country, and also the central hills. And in the documentary which showed that the central part of it mostly covered by the regional plantation companies. So naturally, the land which is located, which is given to the RPs, is very suitable for coffee cultivation, which you see that at the moment is more of a domestic or a small farmer concept in Sri Lanka, which can be grown into a monocrop and also the intercrop part of it. So the plantations will contribute a lot towards that task.
The specialty coffee market has steadily increased and it's in fact overtaken that of the commodity market. Consumption has also increased in key regions, North America, Europe, and right now we're seeing the Asia Pacific region as well. Locally, the demand has surged mainly due to the growth of the HoReCa sector as well as the tourism markets. And prices right now are quite high. That's mainly due to the fact that supply is quite restricted. But we're slowly starting to see that change. The biggest shift we're seeing is an increase in volumes. And there are two separate facets to that. The first is the increase in cultivation from the smallholder farmers. So some of you may or may not know that these farmers account for around 80% of production that comes out of the country.
We're here with Mr. Kushan Senaratna, the Lanka Coffee Association chairperson. Mr. Kushan, how are you doing today and what are your thoughts about this event?
I think it's an amazing day. I'm doing really well as well. I'm really glad to see this documentary. I think something that is kind of brand new for Sri Lanka and especially for our coffee industry. So I'm excited about today's event.
Could you tell us how did you get into the coffee industry and how has your experience been so far in the industry?
I think coffee has always been a passion for me, but once I joined Colombo Coffee Company, that passion kind of ignited and I started understanding coffee. So I always enjoyed my cappuccino, but today I know what's really behind that cup as well. And that story has been quite amazing so far.
Also, what opportunities and challenges do you see in the coffee sector in Sri Lanka?
I think Sri Lankan coffee actually has a massive opportunity in the global market as well. But also there are a lot of challenges. Mainly if you look at how our coffee is being processed today and the harvest that we do, there's a lot of challenges in terms of the volumes, the quality, the pricing, all of that. But I think the way forward therefore is not to try and compete on the commodity or the commercial coffee market, but on the specialty levels. And that is what we saw today as well.
Amazing, amazing. So what makes Sri Lankan coffee stand out? What unique features about Sri Lankan coffee make it stand out in your opinion?
Just for start off, I think if you go back in the history, Sri Lanka used to be the third largest exporter back in the 1850s. Unfortunately, the rust disease came, it wiped out, and then only tea came. So we were actually a coffee country before being a tea country. And I think that legacy or that what we saw back in the day can be brought back into Sri Lanka as well. And some of the samples that we sent into MICE, the Melbourne International Coffee Expo, fetched some amazing results. Like really good results, and there were experts who said that our coffee has unique taste notes that you can't find in other coffees in Southeast Asia. So again, now it's about how we can scale this to make it into an economically financial model from being in that sample stage.
Wonderful, wonderful. So if you could give one quick message to the viewers out there, to the upcoming entrepreneurs and farmers, what would that message be?
Trust in Sri Lankan coffee, but trust the process. Have best practices, because if you do not have the best practices, then it's just going to be a very average bean. So trust the process and have best practices.
We're here with the Australian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, His Excellency Paul Stevens. Mr. Paul, how are you doing today and what are your thoughts about this event?
Well, I'm very pleased to be here at the event Behind the Brew, a story and film on Sri Lanka's emerging coffee industry. This is a sector that Australia has supported for many years through the Market Development Facility, and we see great potential for the coffee sector in Sri Lanka to uplift the agriculture sector and also the tourism sector here. People often don't understand that coffee was actually a big market, a big part of Sri Lanka's agriculture many, many years ago, and now we're seeking to revive it. And the thing is too that actually the quality of the coffee produced in Sri Lanka is very high, and so there's real opportunity not just for the tourism market domestically but also for export.
Speaking of support, what support does Australia cater to Sri Lanka to uplift the coffee sector?
Well, it's all through the Market Development Facility, which is an Australian-funded facility here that's been operating since 2017, which really is working very much on the ground with the coffee producers, with the exporters, with the marketers, and helping to bring the quality coffee bean that Sri Lanka produces from the tree, from the coffee tree to the market and beyond.
Indeed, indeed. So how does MDF Australia plan to bring this to the next level, take Sri Lankan coffee sector to the global level?
Yeah, well, I think to continue the pathway that we're already on, which is through further marketing, through, I think, increasing the value chain that is there in the coffee sector, and just really highlighting the quality of what Sri Lanka is able to produce, and the fact that, in fact, there's huge potential in coffee for Sri Lanka and also globally.
If you could give one quick message to Sri Lanka's young and upcoming entrepreneurs, what would that message be?
I think the message would be that you need to be brave, that there's great opportunity out there, that Sri Lanka really needs you, because obviously Sri Lanka's had some economic difficulties, but with the entrepreneurship, there's a great opportunity to drive new growth. So I would say that look for the opportunities, and also in terms of coffee, there's a great amount of potential there that can only grow.
And that's a wrap for Behind the Brew right here at Radical Demo Building in Colombo. Tonight has been a whole lot of fun, excitement and networking. Stay tuned with Hi TV for more exclusive coverage of events like this.